making the most of things. Making the most of this indoor experience, right? Making the most of this room. Making the most of stuffing yourself with coffee. Because maybe today is the last day in a while that I will drink coffee. Who knows, right? So I feel like I have to make the most of this now. I also have the feeling I have to make the most of this room now. Because I have the feeling and the love, I have the hope that I will leave this soon. So maybe for me it's important to create memories here. And maybe looking back I will say, I really made the most of this room. I hated it, I loved it, I planned ahead. I made sure that as long as I'm here, it's okay to be here. And a part of me will really be in some kind of deep emotional pain when I have to leave here. Because this place became somewhat precious to me. And that's of course also living in a city. It's somehow precious, and it's now I've lived with my family for 3 years, and I mean, yes, I've shouted at them and I've done all kinds of things. But I really love them. And I want them to be okay, even if I'm gone. And I know I won't be completely gone, but they won't see me every day. It's not like I see my brother every day, but I know I could. And so often I feel like right now I shouldn't even. Because he has his life to live, and I have my life to live. And just because he's my brother, I don't have to see him every day. I know he's there, and I know I can always call him. And that's what I will do when I leave here. I will occasionally call my family. But I also realized that I need to do my own thing now. And that's, of course, what sparked also to be persistent. And that's why drinking this coffee, which is what my dad always does, is somewhat also emotional to me. Wearing this shirt, which the woman I love bought for me, even in the first couple of weeks that we met, is somewhat special to me because I already thought about throwing it away. Because I thought, I have to cut it off. But now I'm wearing it. And she's also one of the reasons why I wanted to push through. Because I just believe it's her. So, making the most of things also of course includes your life and yourself and your ability to live. And like when you're not happy and you're overweight and you're obese, then there are things in your life that you should change. If you're smoking, you should change that. And that's why making the most of things starts with yourself. To tap into your hidden potential, your unrealized, right? From real and reality, your unrealized, something you have not realized yet. You have not brought it out into existence. Your creative potential is being wasted by working for others. Your creative potential is being wasted by watching movies, by reading books other people write, by buying clothes that you could make yourself. That's your creative potential that you can tap into. And looking at this society, nobody does that anymore. But there is great value in doing these things because that's what people actually want, what they're craving for. It's uniqueness, and people are willing to buy your uniqueness, your courage to show them how it's done. And maybe they won't do what you do, and they won't progress, and they won't become like you are. And you don't have to expect that for them, of them. But already what is enough to know is that they take solace in knowing that there's somebody as crazy as you are, and that helps them to move into a different kind of future. And that's just how it is. It's a different kind of future. But it's good, because if everybody would like doing what you are doing, what would that mean? Then you would have nothing to do anymore. Because how can you tell people, how to get where you are? If everybody's there already, then you would have nothing to do anymore, and then you would do something else probably. Because that's probably who you are. You're the rebel. You're somebody who just, who doesn't fit in with everybody else. So stop pretending. I think it's quite important, right? Because we need the fish that, go into the distance and they check out unhidden places and they show, right, this is another way of living. So we are the people who can guide society into something that is actually worth being a part of. Because right now I think it's not worth it, because it's just full of shit. And we're just looking at stuff that doesn't make sense to look at. And we're praising people that shouldn't be praised because they do nothing. They just sit around and get fatter and they get their pictures taken, and that's about it. So right, just you have to work your butt off for people to acknowledge you. And I like anime movies because sometimes they're a bit weird and sometimes they're a bit like over the top. Watching Naruto like punch a guy in the face and he flies like a kilometer into the distance. And the same for Dragon Ball, of course. But what does that teach you? It's like truth, right? I don't have to punch anybody in the face. I just have to be like strong to my ideals and to be persistent and to believe in myself. But also to realize, like if Vegeta would have realized that he will never be like Son Goku. Because he's more, like hatred, right? And Son Goku's more like, wow, like love and stuff. And it's the same for Naruto. Nobody will ever be like Naruto. But you can create your own version of Naruto without trying to be him, But you just see your own life as a hero journey. And that's why when I went to these places and I just cooked there, I never took part of it, where they do these hero journeys and people kept pestering me. Oh, when are you going to do one, right? Because now, right, it's the same with the mosque. You go there and they want you to be a part of it, join the team. Well, the truth is I will never join your team because I just create my own team. Like my team is life and God and, trusting in myself. I'm basically my own team. I don't want to be part of your team. I want my own team. And that's then in the end the Love Our Children Foundation. And that's of course what motivates me also to stay away from these places that want my energy, that want to suck me in. Because that's not what I want to do. I want to be my own man and create my own things and take charge of my own life. So yes, there's all kinds of people that will want you to play for their team because, when they've got something like you, suddenly they don't look so shit anymore. But then you realize, actually, they don't want you, no, they just want your aura. They just want to put you as like, on pole position, that you look nice and shine, and behind you are hiding all kinds of fucking liars. And that's just how some of these places are. They pretend to be, for the people, but in the end they just make money. And some of the I went to one of these places where they do these hero journeys, and I left more traumatized than before. And now I just hate them, the bunch of them. Not because I'm a sissy, or I'm an idiot, or I'm unlovable, or I'm terrible, or I'm right or wrong. No, it's just because the way they treated me was completely disrespectful. They treated me like an inferior, and they didn't value my opinion. And that's, of course, if you come in somebody's team, but they already have people playing in that team. But some of them, they think then they're better than others because they like, I'm here already for 10 years, so I can tell you what to do. And so I realized I'm done playing for the teams of other people because they are selfish and they just want me to do what they want, but I want to do what I want. So, I have to prove to myself that I can actually do it. Because otherwise I will not be Naruto, I will be somebody else. And I realized, I am, or at least I have the potential to be somebody like Naruto or Son Goku, who just pushes through, who gets stronger and stronger. Only for me that doesn't mean like, just training all the time. Because what was also with Son Goku, he was kind of an idiot, wasn't he? Sometimes he cared more about the fighting, which actually brought Earth more trouble because everybody wanted to fight him because he's so strong, than about, I don't know what, just living a peaceful life. I don't know. So, I don't just want to fight people, I want to raise awareness, and I fight for something. And if somebody comes and takes a fight with me, maybe I will walk away. It depends. Depends on the person and depends on, what's at stake. But to just fight for the sake of fighting, but that's what looking up to heroes like Naruto, which is just, it's not a real person, so it's just an image of somebody standing up for others also, as well as for himself. And to not be so self-centered all the time, but to say I have a dream. And I mean, how many people have said already, I'm going to create a foundation, to save children, but they failed. How many people have said they want to be president or go into politics to change something, and then they were sucked up by it. They were sucked up by politics. So they stopped suddenly living up to their own ideals, and they started to become greedy. And that's what you always have to keep track of. Is what you're doing now still in line with your personal goal? Or are you now living... Are you now being nourished by some corrupt people who I came upon? Like people to constantly tell me what to do, and I just got fed up with it. And that's why always be wary with anyone. It's good to open up, but don't trust too early anyone. Wait for them to show you who they are. And sometimes if you just stay quiet, you don't really say anything, you just observe. But you don't observe them directly, you just observe them you pretend to be just busy with yourself. It's not just pretending, but you just observe what is going all around you, and you hear the things that people say, and you see the things that people do. And then you observe how it makes you feel what they do and say. Does it feel like, lies? Do they do different things than they say? And then suddenly you realize, Alright. Some people are quite pretentious. So don't just trust everybody. I always trusted everybody blindly. And sometimes, then I spend a lot of time with people and I realized they're full of shit. And that's then of course a scary place, because now you put your trust in them and your faith, and suddenly all of that is gone. And now I think my recording session is over. Maybe I will move it to the outside.